Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Naked Coach Collective podcast. Today, I'm flying solo. It's just you and me. And I really want to open up about a chapter of my life that has pretty much shaped everything that I do now. So let's get into it. Before I was a coach, I was a teacher. And if you're listening as a teacher or an educator of some sort, you'll know that this is an absolutely supercharged, rewarding career. However, it is also a supercharged, exhausting career. And I want to talk about the challenges that I faced, the stress, the workload, the constant demands, and how I eventually got my way through it. So I want to share some tools and practices that I now use as a coach that I wish I'd known back then. Because, I honestly believe that teachers can thrive in their roles. And I was for a while, but I just wasn't looking after myself. And hopefully some of the things that I'm going to share with you today will help you look after yourself and really continue to thrive for many years to come in your teaching roles. So this is a little journey about my real near burnout and how I find myself coaching and how I find myself sitting here with you right now. And, some of these practices, I really hope that you might be able to incorporate and see where they take you. So when I look back over my teaching career, I think the one word that really sums it all up is volume, the sheer volume of everything that needed doing. There was the classroom itself, managing 30 plus young people with young minds and different needs and personalities and behaviors, and always on high alert, always switched on, always have a compassionate head on. So that itself was just one big aspect. Then there were something I didn't realize at the beginning was the early starts, the late evenings, the weekends, the lesson planning, marking, preparing resources, reports in triplicate for some bizarre reason. And also at that time, I was a single parent to my young daughter, and all the time that I was spending outside of the school hours, on my school work, I was not spending with her. And this was precious time, and it was never coming back. That was so in my head, and it just led to just mega guilt. I didn't ever factor in any space for me. I never really considered that there was an option for me to have a piece of me, for me to have a piece of my energy, of my love for myself. And I actually, even if I had done, I had no oomph to do these things, to do anything that brought me joy in the past, any personal development, creative hobbies, time for reflection, journaling, meditation. None of these things really, they were just weren't in my periphery vision. I was focused on work. I was focused on my daughter. And I really, really wanted to give everybody everything in all of me. And pretty soon I was running on empty. Yeah. And if you identify with this, if you can relate to that, running on empty is very odd because you don't really realize you're doing it. There really wasn't a dramatic moment that I thought, oh, right now I'm done, I'm empty. It was like a series of just little whispers over time. And things started slipping. My performance started slipping. My performance at school, my performance with my daughter, my output wasn't what I wanted it to be. But even then, I didn't really recognize that something's got to give. I was very near burnout. And I was incredibly lucky that I had people around me who identified this in me rather than me get to that point and then that was it. So I was very fortunate that the leaders at the school that I was working in at the time identified that I needed some time off. And I would never have asked for it. Anyway, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. I started learning. I started thinking about what I wanted to do next. And I still had thoughts of going back to teaching, but then I discovered coaching and started learning about helping others. And through that, I realized that, I need to start by helping myself. Coaching brought me to a new word I'd never considered, and that was boundaries. I think as a teacher and as a teacher in early years of their career, boundaries are very hard to set. And it's important that you get a grip of those, because I never did. And I just would say yes to everything. Yes, yes. Oh, can you collaborate on this? Can you help here? Can you take this break cover? Can you? Oh, yes, yes. Ask Darshana, she's yes. But it's not the way to put boundaries up and to protect yourself. Another thing I started to learn with the coaching was, the value of understanding that situations can be viewed from different viewpoints. And while I feel like I have always been an empathetic kind of person, to take a situation and really step back and think, right, there's got to be different ways of looking at this. Took some learning. And even better than that, when you have learned that there are different ways of viewing a situation, it's you can come to realize that there are many, many ways of dealing with each one, generally speaking. So I learned to step back. I learned to ask questions, and I learned to ask questions, those big questions in coaching, like, what do I really want? And what are my deepest core values? And the one that I love the most, that you don't really hear that often, is what makes me happy. And coaching makes me happy. Or what I do, podcasting makes me happy. Being with you makes me happy. Now, what makes you happy? What are your deepest core values? What do you really want? Take some time and have a little brainstorming session, if you like, with yourself, or with me. Call me, and we can do it together. So there I was taking some time off, repairing myself, and then and discovering coaching and learning all about being a coach and what it means. And I realized actually there are a lot of common factors between teaching and coaching. As a teacher, you're guiding others, you're leading others, you're encouraging, you're helping someone to grow into their potential. And same applies to coaching. But in coaching, you're also turning that light back onto yourself. So whatever I give out in a teaching capacity, I can put it on myself in a coaching capacity and make sure that I thrive and make sure that I grow and grow into my potential. And I think every teacher should really think about incorporating that, because we do give so much. And thinking about what you need, thinking about what makes you happy, thinking about your own potential has only got to have a good knock-on effect to your pupils. And you know what? You really deserve it. Anyway, so let's get on to some of the tools that I started to use. And I would just say, try some of these as you go along and as you listen, or after the podcast. Even just one maybe, but we'll come back to that. Right. So practical tools. One of the biggest things, and I might say this with all of them, I don't know yet. One of the biggest things was this mindful living and incorporating some meditation time. Don't think that meditation has to be 30 minutes sitting on a cushion, darkened room, no noise. Meditation can be a minute long. Meditation can just be a moment of contemplation. Maybe start with 1 or 2 minutes. Just close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Notice your breath, not even deep breathing, just notice your breath. And importantly, be still. Not easy for me. I am a wobbler. and a fidgeter. I am, but I train myself to just be still, close my eyes. And I don't even think you have to close your eyes, but it suits me. And be still. Anyway, I won't do it for, and that stillness, if you do that at the beginning of your day, it sets your nervous system in a different state for the day. I mean, I'm calmer. I'm speaking in a calmer voice. I've slowed down. I've got over some of those nerves of at the beginning of this podcast of doing a solo episode. And even those just those 5 or 6 seconds of stillness has created this calmness. Now, why don't you try it? You've nothing to lose. A few seconds, just breathe and be still. And things will come into your head, but that's really okay, because the meditation part is more of just a stillness. It's just a recognizing that you are a being, and you deserve to go out and face your day in a calm, clear state. So forget about 30 minutes, forget about 20 minutes, forget about 10 minutes. Just do what you can and build yourself up. Another thing I really love is journaling, but not like you might think, oh God, that's homework, or it's a pressure to do it every day. I don't do it every day. But I do it when I need to, when I feel like it. Sometimes I do actually make myself sit down and say, right, okay, you haven't journaled for a few days, just sit down and do it. But it can come in different forms. And the way I think would help me and may help you is to just do it in a positive light. So, um, oh, and by the way, use your phone, right? If you don't want to write, you've been writing all day, right? Just use your phone, use the voice memos on your phone. And it could be as simple as clicking on and going, well, I was proud of how I handled that situation today. I made a great call on that. I really helped this person. I was a really good help in that situation. And just pop it on your voice notes. And what you'll soon develop is a way of acknowledging the good things that you've achieved, which we're all guilty of just letting them slip and focusing on, oh, I wish I'd done that differently. So your journaling can take on any type of form that you want it to. You can sit with a book and read and write. You can put your voice notes on. You can video yourself on Zoom. You can do it anyhow you want. You can draw doodles around a big sheet of paper, whiteboard, flip chart paper, and have one a month or one a week, and just add your thoughts on there every day. Journaling is a personal thing. Do it your way. Now, something that is really very often missed in well-being kind of conversations is nutrition, because we often think of nutrition as a separate entity, your diet and your body and your what you eat. But for me, nutrition was and is a big part of my own well-being. And that's because I realized, I was leaving early. I was working in a school that wasn't very close to me. So I was driving for, could be an hour, and I was just eating junk because it was quick and available. And the sugar and the stodge was making me feel really quite bloated and unwell and slow and sluggish and not alert. So I cut as much sugar as possible, and I really noticed that I felt different. Now, with you, your body's different to mine. Everybody's is different. So what small change can you make in your nutrition that's going to help you make you feel better and give you more energy? And generally speaking, I think sugar is something that affects a lot of people. Be really careful of having those the energy drinks. I'm not sure that they are quite what they should be doing, because if you have them and you like them, see how you feel after 2 or 3 hours, and make the correlation. So make the correlation between what you eat and how you feel, and how you feel as time goes on during the day, and how you sleep. So the sleep is another thing. If you can maximize on the quality of your sleep, and there are lots of YouTube videos and lots of information out there on how to get great sleep and your evening routines. I won't go into that here, but it will really help. One of the other things I wanted to talk to you about, right? I'm just having a look here, right? So understanding that when you're in a school, when you work in a school in any capacity, you are part of the community. And being part of a community like that means few things will often or regularly come up, like people encroaching on your boundaries, like a possible conflict situation. And this conflict could be even with pupils, with parents, with your colleagues, with the leadership team. And if you can work out a way of going back to what I said about stepping back and seeing a situation from different ways, on top of that, you start to think, well, okay, this situation has a possibility of igniting. Another tool that you could use is the pause. Just pause. Stop. Don't talk for a moment, 2 moments, a minute. And people might look at you strangely, but just stop. Take a breath. Physically, even step back from the situation. And then get a moment to get your thoughts together. And so what you can do is, instead of being reactive, you're actually talking from intention. You're having you've figured out really quickly in your head, okay, if I say this, it's going to ignite the situation, or if I say this, it's going to calm the situation, and how do I want this to pan out? Take that moment. You deserve it. You owe it to yourself. Pause and then go for it. So let's have a think. When you are a teacher, and when I was a teacher, there was so much going on and everything was about everyone else. So to sum it up, you deserve to have some of your time for you. You deserve to have a happy, less stressful, invigorating, lighten you up experience at work. You spend so much time at work, and being exhausted all the time is just no good for anyone. Step back, think about the things that you might be able to change, even little things, maybe a small tweak in what you take for a snack might help you this week, and then next week, maybe some phone memo, journaling, positive things. Right. I think I've got through everything there. It's really hard talking to yourself, but anyway. Well, I know what, I've made a note here. I really wanted to tell you this. Something about boundaries and your energy, right? So when I first started my teacher training, a very, very wise and experienced teacher said to me, teaching will fill every single second you give it. So decide consciously you're going to spend only 45 minutes or as much as 45 minutes doing a job. Do it and then stop. Think about, well, okay, I'm going to not work every evening. I'm going to work Mondays and Wednesdays, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays and Thursdays, or every day in the evening, but not at the weekends. So set your boundaries for yourself and really try to stick with them, because otherwise you can be doing your teaching work all the time if you allow it. Anyway, just a little nugget that I really thought you might enjoy. I'm sure that you've all heard this before, and I'm pretty sure that you've all experienced it. If you're a teacher or in education, it never ends. There's always going to be more to do. So I hope you've enjoyed having a little listen there. Just to recap, we're going to have stepping back, pausing. We're going to ask those big questions. What makes you happy? Thinking about writing down or memoing your positive things that have happened to you, changes that you've made that have been really positive. Thinking about your nutrition mindfully, all of the things that go in your mouth and how they make you feel. Thinking about your boundaries, thinking about how you would deal with potential conflict situations. All of this, you don't have to do it all. You don't have to do even a couple. Just choose one. Choose one little change every time you're ready, not every week, maybe however long, and create a sustainable change. And then just start to notice how you're feeling and the positivity that you are now beginning to ingrain in yourself, and as well as hopefully building up your energy levels. Yeah. If any of this has had any impact on you, or if you're going to try something, or you have tried any of this, if you're curious about working with me and about how these tools and many others could work for you, reach out to me. I'd be happy to have a coaching call with you and get to know you. You can get to know me even more. All the details of how you can contact me are in the show notes. And so take care of yourself. We're going to wrap it up there. Remember, until next time, be there, be there. Oh, I messed it up. Be there, be bare, and be naked.